take my chances and it'll be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Make good decisions, right?
Well, yeah, and it sounds like you've been in contact with the CPHO in Yukon and everything anyway, so you have the best information you can get.
Yeah. It's just frustrating that it's not a little more clear, but do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah. All right, so we are live on YouTube now. Is 4143, is that Alana?
That's me. That's
Thank
me, yeah.
you. Right. We do have quorum and it is 7 o'clock, so we can call to order. I do have a couple of additions to the agenda. I would like to add under item 4, delegations, presentations, or petitions, which I think is where it should go. I would just like to welcome our new student rep. And then also under 8.6, I sent it very late today and I do apologize for that. I would like to talk briefly with council about the NavCan letter that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. If those additions are all right, and if there are any others from council, I don't believe I've heard of any, so I will look for someone to move the agenda with the additions. Moved by Councillor Salatke, seconded by Councillor McBride. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. Item 3, declaration of conflict of interest or pecuniary interest. I don't believe we have any. Seeing none, thank you. Delegations, presentations, or petitions. Cassidy, I'll ask you just to turn your camera on briefly if you can. So Cassidy Lenny Ipana is our new student rep, joining us from East 3 Secondary School. She is a grade 12 student on track to graduate in this school year. Cassidy, did you want to say anything? Maybe not. That's okay. If you do get, there you go.
Hi. Yeah, I'm frozen on my end, so hello, if you could see me.
You don't have video, but we can hear you.
Welcome,
Okay,
Cassidy.
cool.
All right. Thank you. So as always, our work with the student rep will be whatever we make of it and whatever Cassidy makes of it. So hopefully we can have a nice, good conversation with her, keep her well involved on what's going on, hear the youth opinion of the things that we talk about around the table. So as council, we welcome you. All right, with that we can move on to public question period, which I'll just confirm with SAO Hood whether we'd received anything.
I have not received anything.
Okay, thank you. So move on to adoption of the minutes. 6.1, the minutes of the November 9th, 2020 council meeting. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Barlock. Any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? I am seeing none. All right, with that, we'll call to a vote. All in favor? So
Yes.
moved. Thank you. On to item 6.2, the minutes of the November 17th, 2020 Public Works Committee meeting. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Salatke, seconded by Deputy Mayor McDonald. Questions or comments on the meeting minutes? And I am seeing none. We'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. On to item 6.3, the minutes of the November 19th, 2020 Administrative Committee meeting. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor McBride, seconded by Councillor Barlock. Any questions or comments on these meeting minutes? Again, seeing none, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. On to item 7.1, the action items list. Any questions or comments on the list? And I'm seeing none. On to 8.1, new business, the 2021 council and committee meeting schedule. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby adopts the 2021 council and committee meeting schedule as presented. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Loreen. Any questions or comments on the item? Councillor Wood?
Not on the item itself. I just think it'd be worthwhile pointing out to Cassidy that we do the majority of our discussions on the committee of the whole meeting on Monday nights. The regular meeting is normally quite quiet. So if she's wondering why there's a lack of action, that's probably why.
So just for our own information, we forgot to send the link to Cassidy for Monday. So while she wasn't involved in the Zoom part, she did actually tune in on YouTube. So she has an idea of what we're talking about as we do move through these items. So I'm good on her for that. All right, so if there is no further questions on the item, we will call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. On to item 8.2, the resolution to join the Partners for Climate Protection Program. We had two people put their name forward for this item. We're looking for a representative from council to join. Also, Councillor Salatki had some questions about financial implications. There was an email sent out, but SAO Hood, I wasn't sure if you wanted to touch on that information as well.
I think the email was self-explanatory. The director had, when they were looking at joining and doing this, had a question about financial obligations, and they assured him that in this case, for what we're doing, there is no financial obligation on the part of the town.
Councillor Salatki, does that answer the question that you were asking?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Now, so the two councillors who had put their names forward were Councillor McBride and Salatki. Would either of you like to remove your name, or I'm not sure how you want to battle out here who wants to be, or if we want to have two councillors appointed. I'm happy to hear the conversation that might happen around the table here on how to deal with this item. Councillor Salatki, go ahead.
I think that Councillor McBride and myself both have very different backgrounds, and that if there is the potential to offer both of us an option to be on this, it might make more sense. I have the environmental side, he's the engineering and financial side. It would be great if we could work on this together instead of, I mean, there's COVID, so we can't draw straws and things like that in council chambers. So I'm happy to share the appointment with Councillor McBride if that's an option.
Okay, I just confirm with SAO Hood, would having two councillors be okay for this?
I don't see why not.
Okay. All right, so if council's okay with that, I will slot in both names in the proclamation. Maybe I'll just look for some nodding heads if we're okay to move forward that way. Okay, thank you. So there is no recommendation per se here, but there is a full-on proclamation. So I can move ahead with that, and then I guess just for administration's sake or for governance, I don't think we need a mover and seconder. It's simply a proclamation that I make, SAO would.
Correct.
Okay.
Unless you want to, the only other thing would be unless you want to appoint, make a motion to formally appoint the two councillors.
Okay, and from your side of things, is that something that we should do then?
I believe for the record, it would be best to have a motion.
Okay.
Just in case the partnership comes back and wants to see something.
Okay. All right, so then we will say that the town of Inuvik hereby appoints councillors Salatki and McBride to the FCM Local Governments for Sustainability Partners for Climate Protection Program Committee. Moved by Councillor Wood, seconded by Councillor Barlock. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. All right, thank you. So now I will read the proclamation. Council resolution to join the FCM ICLEIE. Local Governments for Sustainability Partners for Climate Protection Program. Whereas the Federation of Canadian Municipalities and the ICLEI, Local Governments for Sustainability, have established the Partners for Climate Protection Program to provide a forum for municipal governments to share their knowledge and experience with other municipal governments on how to reduce GHG emissions. Whereas over 350 municipal governments across Canada, representing more than 65% of the population, have already committed to reducing corporate and community GHG emissions through the PCP program since its inception in 1994. And whereas the PCP program is based on 5 milestone framework that involves completing a GHG inventory and forecast, getting a GHG reduction target, developing a local action plan, implementing the plan, and monitoring progress and reporting the results, be it resolved that the municipality of Inuvik endorses the Government of Canada's commitment to the Paris Agreement to limit global temperature increase to below 2 degrees Celsius and to pursue efforts to limit the global temperature increase to 1.5 degrees Celsius. And be it resolved that the municipality of Inuvik will review the guidelines on PCP member benefits and responsibilities and then communicate to FCM its participation in the PCP program and its commitment to achieving the milestones set out in the PCP 5 milestone framework. Be it further resolved that the municipality of Inuvik appoints Kessel Joseph, Councillor Reagan Solotki, and Councillor Gary McBride to oversee the implementation of the PCP milestones and to be the points of contact for the PCP program within the municipality. Thank you. All right, we can move then to item 8.3, the solid waste expansion project funding application. Recommendation here is that Inuvik Town Council hereby requests that the Town of Inuvik administration apply for funding under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program for the solid waste site expansion project. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor McBride, seconded by Councillor Wood. Is there any further conversation on this item? I am seeing none. All right, with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. So we can move on to item 8.4, which is the Brainot Road Redevelopment Project Funding Application. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby requests the Town of Inuvik administration apply for funding under the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program for the Brainot Road Rehabilitation Project. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Barlock, seconded by Councillor McBride. Any further questions or comments on the item? Seeing none. All right, we'll call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Thank you. 8.5 is the December holiday hours for town facilities. Recommendation is that Inuvik Town Council hereby approves the proposed 2020 holiday schedule for all town facilities as presented. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor McBride and a seconder, Councillor Barlock. Any questions or comments on the facility schedule? Seeing none, all in favor?
Yes.
Thank you, so moved. So the last item, which was a late addition, and again, I do apologize for how late you received it, is the NAVCAN letter that I have been working on for the last couple of weeks. Just a little bit of background here. NAV Canada has decided that Inuvik is one of the locations that they're going to do an aeronautical study, which basically means that they are assessing things like overnight service, staffing levels, and other activities that NAVCAN provides at the airport. SEO Hood and I did participate in a video conference with a couple staff members from NavCan. It was an okay interaction. Through that meeting, I found out that they have not reached out to either the IRC or the GTC, and also that some of the stakeholders at the airport have also not been contacted by the group. So the letter before you is a way to bring that attention to Nav Canada themselves, as well as to members within other levels of government that can advocate or make decisions on these types of discussions, I guess. A big part of what I'm identifying within this letter is how important having full service at our airport is. And I really feel, and I hope that council will support me in this, that this is something that we need to be quite strong with and take a stand on, especially when we're looking at the millions of dollars that are being put into our airport to, you know, extending the runway, the apron building, and then of course the new terminal as well. So I think that making sure that if we're going to have a state-of-the-art, brand new, up-to-date airport, that we have all the services that come with that. So I am, of course, open to any conversation. And also, if there's any edits in the letter that you see, please email me. Or right now, if you have any items to discuss on this, I'm happy to hear them as well. Councillor Barlock, and then Deputy Mayor McDonald.
Great, thank you. I thought the letter was fairly well written. It touched on a lot of key points. I like the focus on the defense and NORAD, as well as the airport improvements that are upcoming. So I don't have any issues with the letter itself. In your list at the back, though, if we're going to tell them they should be contacting GTC, we got to make sure we add them in to our CC list. And I see we have ACLAC Air as one of the stakeholders. I mean, obviously, they're one of the key permanent ones, but we have a bunch of others as well, such as Northright, you know, Canadian North, Air North. We may want to consider having them included as well, whether they want to have any participation in that. So just broadening it out, and I know, oops, sorry, I'm getting a call or something. It was all finished there, and I can pass it over. Sorry, I'm done talking.
I think you're still muted there, Mayor, but
Sorry. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor McDonald.
that's okay. So I just want to reiterate how much support we should be giving you in regards to this issue. It's one that'll affect all of us greatly in this community. And it also has an impact on our remote communities for medevacs and flights into those in the mornings. Not having one of the issues that Nav Canada, from my understanding, wants to do is shut down the front midnight till 8 a.m. service, which delays weather reports for the airport and has long-lasting effects because they have to have so many weather reports, from my understanding, for flights to come in. So for an actual weather report at the airport, it could delay flights such as Canadian or Air North coming in to us by hours. So it's something that does have long-lasting impacts, and we all are aware, losing services in Inuvik, we don't get it back. So once it's gone, that's it. It's one of those things. It's an uphill battle to try and bring back, and they certainly wouldn't during these times. I think we should just stop it where it is and make sure that it doesn't go any further than an investigation, as opposed to actually canceling. My thoughts.
Great, thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Wood.
Yeah, in your position as a member of the board of directors with NWTAC, I think they should be getting a copy of this letter and a recommendation that they support us as well. With NWTAC, of course, they have a direct link to FCM, so maybe we can enlist support there. I know I did in the past on the red tape for the satellite dishes. So the more the merrier.
Yeah, and I will add too that Norman Wells is also under consideration for an aeronautical study. And so definitely having the board involved would be, I take that as a good direction for sure. Any other comments or questions? I'm not seeing any. Okay. So there's nothing to approve there. I just wanted to make you aware of what I had been working on for the last little while. So we can move on to item 9, which is bylaws. There are no bylaws this evening, so department head reports. Recommendation will be that town council hereby adopts the following department head reports as presented. Item 10.1, the financial report, and item 10.2, the capital projects report. I'll look for a mover, please. Moved by Councillor Loreen, seconded by Councillor Selecki. Any questions or comments on the reports? I'm seeing none. All right, with that, we can call to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
So moved. Thank you. Up next is item 11, our strategic priorities chart. Excuse me. I did send out an email yesterday, I think, looking to see if council will be available to meet in December to come up with or reassess what our strategic priorities are in the chart. I hope that we can have everyone to come together and put those ideas forward. Were there any further questions or comments on the chart this evening? Seeing none. Okay, thank you. Under council concerns from Monday, we did have the request of sending an email or a letter to the drum. I did take care of that this afternoon. So were there any other council concerns this evening? Councillor Wood?
Not a concern, just a reminder. NWTAC issued their second call for resolutions today. We have until, I believe, January 21st, but it'd be a good idea to start working on whatever we do have. And the NAV Canada one might even be a good issue to bring up at the AGM if it's not resolved.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else under the concerns this evening? Councillor Barlow?
Not a concern, just a positive note again. It's nice to see all the Christmas decorations have started to go up around town. We have our banners across the poles there. The snowflakes are going up with the tree decorated. So just a good job again to start bringing up the Christmas spirit in the community and hopefully putting some smiles on people's faces.
Great, thank you. Anything else under concerns tonight? Deputy Mayor McDonald?
I've been getting fielding some questions in regards to February's jury selection. It's come up multiple times over the last few days, and that they want to use the Inuvik rink to do this. The concern is that there's already a lack of options in Inuvik for kids to play. For example, the swimming pool is closed, squash courts are by appointment, gym is by appointment, and it's the times we live in. But shutting down the entire rink surface for approximately 7 days and interfering with those user groups is something that I have a concern with, and so do the constituents. So I'd like that to be seriously looked at, that perhaps they look at the school, although we can't use that as users because of BDEC, from my understanding, because it's not from the lack of teachers, from those who I've spoken to. It's a higher up issue with regards to using the gym. That might be a better location as to not interfere with the youth groups we have at the arena.
Okay.
It's Councillor Miro. Could I just ask that to be clarified? I'm not quite sure. We have jury selection that's going to take 7 days?
I'm going to have to let SAO Hood speak to this item.
No, my understanding is it's more than just jury selection. It's something to do with a trial as well. And we estimate, and we have not committed, by the way, to do it. It would be approximately 5 days that we would be out of commission, so to speak. And it is something that we can take if council feels strongly that not to do it, that's fine. And then we can tell the court system that they'll have to figure something else out.
Is the community hall not available versus the ice rink?
Actually, if it's okay with council, Lise, would you be available to, more about it than I do, what exactly the whole thing is? Would you be available to unmute and talk and explain?
Hi, can you hear me? Am I on?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the courts have booked in February. They've booked in a full week. They need their jury selection on the Monday and Tuesday. They may not use part of like the Tuesday afternoon. They may only use part of the Tuesday. The rest of the week, they don't need the pad, but they are in the hall for this jury trial that they're having. They've asked because when they field their jury selection, they usually bring in about 100 to 200 people are summoned for jury selection. So that's why they can't do it in the hall. They want to be able to do it on the pad. So we would have to shut down and it takes us longer to put in the flooring only because it's coming out of very cold and has to warm up a bit to be able to settle once we put it on the pad or on the ice. So we'd need Saturday, Sunday of that week, or well, Saturday, Sunday to put it down on the ice. Then they would come in Monday, have their jury selection, come do Tuesday with their jury selection. If they do take Tuesday, then we would peel out the floor Tuesday night and redo the ice Wednesday, like not redo it, but make sure that it's safe to go on. So the groups will be back on to the ice on Wednesday night. They could be back on Tuesday if the courts don't need a full day or if they finish on Monday with their jury selection. So right now we'd be looking at 4 days where the groups would be off the ice.
Thank you for that, Lise. I have a question, and I would guess that you do have a bit of a back and forth with them. Would it not be something we could suggest that they could do smaller groups alphabetically or by appointment and use the community hall? I guess understanding you're probably having these conversations with them, but just hoping that you could give us a little enlightenment of why the ice surface would be necessary then.
The woman that we usually speak to for the rentals and whatnot, that's exactly what I had suggested to her. I said if they wave them in hour slots of 30 people at a time, they should be able to, because when they do their jury selection, they don't they talk to jurors individually as well. So they don't need all 200 people sitting in the room at the same time. But I don't know if it's a legal point with the judges and the lawyers or whatever, but there was something to the effect that how they do their court system for the jury trials or whatever, they need to have all the people that are subpoenaed there at once. And because I told her like waving them in would be probably the easiest and best way to do it. And she said that when I originally talked to her, she said she would push it up higher up to see if that would be a possibility. And when I talked to her again, she said they weren't, that's not something that they were going to entertaining. So I'll try again when I talk to her. I'm supposed to talk to her again tomorrow. So I can talk to her again, but I told her too, it would be very expensive because I think for just the 2 days, the cost for them for putting us out for the 4 days, for us to put the flooring in, for them to rent the flooring and rent the pad, they're looking at well over $6,000 just for a day and a half of actual physical use. But initially when I told her, I said, it's going to be very expensive to do. And it seemed not to matter, but once I finally lay out all the costs for her, they may turn it down. I don't know, but certainly I'm interested to see what council has to say. We talked to the user groups and we asked them. We realized that they would be out off the ice for 4 days, but we asked them what other implications would it have for you other than, yes, you're losing ice time. And right now it's just the main thing seems to be that most of the kids and the adults too, they've been without for so long. And not just ice, but everything that, not really crazy about giving up anything at this point. So that's kind of the feedback from all of the user groups. They're not crazy about it. So that's where we're at.
It's Councillor Miro. Can I just say something?
Go ahead, Councillor Miro. Yeah.
I think giving up a couple days of ice time for the administration of justice is valid. If a trial is going ahead at this time, it's for something serious. The court has tried to put off everything they can that they don't have to do right now. And I would hate to see the court lose jurisdiction because we put skating ahead of justice and ahead of victims.
Thank you for that, Councillor Miro. Anything further on this item? I'm SAO Hood, I would say maybe an update to council when we know better what might be happening. Councillor Barlock, you have a question or?
Yeah, no, I just want to say, taking Councilor Miro's point, I mean, it's a good point. It's a very valid point, but I think we should still push back a little bit to see if they can exhaust all of their options. The key one being the school. I haven't been in there, so I don't know exactly how it's being utilized this year, but I know for a long time there was no gym classes. I hear they may be starting to do that a bit more again. I don't know if they're having it being tied up with other uses, but I think it would behoove us to try to push them a little bit to see if they can exhaust other options as well. And if they come back and say there are no other options, that may make the decision for us there.
It's Councillor Miro here. So we're asking them to take people into the school versus the arena where there's nobody else around, and at the school we have the children.
I don't think the school is a viable option if parents and like community members can't go in the school. I can't see them welcoming 100 people in there. So I don't think that that is actually a viable option. It's likely that the MSC is the only location that would be suitable. I think what I'm hearing is that we would like to hear more on it and see if they're willing to budget all. Lise, I understand you're in conversation with that person, so if you could get, you know, whatever the confirmation is that you can get from them of what they do need or what is possible.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mixing up my days here. I'm thinking Saturday, Sunday for the selection, but it's actually the Monday, Tuesday, and the weekend was for the setup of the ice rink. So sorry, I confused myself there for a second.
Okay, so I think direction from here then would be council would like to hear more on this from SAO Hood as things get solidified, I guess. Does that seem correct? Heads nodding, heads shaking. Yeah. Okay. Right, we can give that direction. Anything further under the concerns then? I'm seeing none. All right, so we do not have in camera tonight, so I'll look for a motion to adjourn, please. Made by Councillor Wood. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening. Safe travels if you're moving around. And